Hello everyone, I'm MVL, and in this video we're going to be looking at 5 games for the Xbox 360 Kinect. That's right, this thing. So without any further ado, let's get started. First up we have Fable, The Journey. This is an action role-playing game, and this might be one of the easiest Kinect games to set up on this list, because you can play this game sitting down, so you don't require as much space as you do with some other games on this list. With that in mind, this could be a good entry point for Kinect players. Fable the Journey has you taking on the role of Gabriel, embarking on a journey, would you believe? But things take an unexpected turn, as they often do, and Gabriel is put on the path to adventure, on his road to becoming a hero. This game starts off with you controlling a horse and carriage, and adds more complexity as you go. I found that the horse riding, for the most part, controlled really well, even in areas where it became challenging, and you can upgrade your powers as you go to make things easier as well. The combat, which comes later in the game, was another story however. At least for me, I found that the hand tracking for battling was incredibly inaccurate, which is a shame because the horsemanship sections were implemented so well. But to be fair, I may not have calibrated the Kinect correctly when I was recording. And I also have very small hands, and you know what it means if I have small hands, right? Let me know in the comments, I'd love to know. But do keep in mind that YouTube will remove anything too rude. Anyway, in this instance my tiny hands probably made the Kinect detecting them harder. I think that this game is a good time though, and has an engaging story, so I think it's definitely worth checking out. That's Fable, The Journey. Next up we have Kinect Adventures and Kinect Sports Season 1 and 2. That's right, I'm including these as one pick. This is a sports game, and I'm bundling all my sports games picks, Kinect Adventures, Kinect Sports, and Kinect Sports Season 2 together as one pick, because it's my video, so I'll do what I want. Anyway, Kinect Adventures plays out with your Xbox avatar, taking on various athletic minigames, with each successful outing progressing you further in your adventure towards new challenges. If you have enough room, you can play this multiplayer, and keep in mind that this game tracks your whole body, so you can't have anything obstructing between you and the Kinect when playing. I actually had to fine-tune calibration on the Kinect motion sensor to make this game perform satisfactory, and I also had to remove the Nyko zoom attachment I was using on the Kinect as well. With all of the technical aspects out of the way, this is a fun time. I found all the minigames to be pretty creative, and got me moving around. You'll have to dart and jump around a lot with Kinect Adventures, but I do think that it's quite enjoyable. That's Kinect Adventures. Wii Sports is a sports game. Did I say Wii Sports? I meant Kinect Sports. Anyway, this game includes a bunch of sports minigames and party games for solo or multiplayer play. The main events include beach volleyball, bowling, boxing, football, table tennis, and track and field. I found that, for the most part, most of the games controlled pretty well, as you'd expect, since this game was a packing game for the Kinect, kind of like a Wii Sports equivalent, you might say. This game really showcases what the motion tracking controls can do, and gives you an idea of what to expect. It's a shame that this technology was quite underutilized, and not many Kinect games came out, but this game did get a follow-up, which we'll also be looking at, with some more content to enjoy. Speaking of more content, I do want to mention that this game had some free downloadable content. At this time you can still procure Xbox 360 DLC as long as it's free, so make sure to grab the extra content while you can. That's Kinect Sports. Kinect Sports Season 2 is a sports game, and adds new minigames and party games to experience, which can be played solo or with friends. The sports available in this game include American football, baseball, basketball, darts, golf, skiing, and tennis, and I think that the controls may have been refined a little for this release as well, since I found that I handled the tasks a lot easier in this game. Once again, you'll be dashing and leaping all over the place to play this, so make sure you don't have any breakables nearby, because you'll break them. And on that subject, I hate to break it to you, but unfortunately some of the extra content for this game, such as the Basketball Challenge Pack, is no longer available. which I do think is a real shame. Kinect Sports Season 2 is good fun though, and has a lot of variety available to enjoy. So if you like what you see, then check it out. That's Kinect Sports Season 2. Next up we have Kinect Star Wars. This is an action game that features an in-depth story mode, as well as several minigames that can be played solo or with an ally. You can also unlock more minigames as you go. The game's story launches you into the Star Wars universe as a Padawan, learning the ways of the Force, which is a nice way of having a tutorial for the motion controls inside of the story itself. You gain more powers as you go, defeating evil enemies on your way to becoming a Jedi Master in this cinematic, action-packed adventure. There's a lot of versatility in the gameplay in this game, from platforming, swoop bike racing, shooting, and hand-to-hand combat. The combat itself is also pretty varied, including blocking, ducking, jumping, and force powers, and that variety helps keep things interesting as you go. And I think that it all plays pretty well, and all the activity is probably a good workout as well. The minigames include dueling, battling a Rancor, pod racing, and a dancing minigame. Each of these have several different stages to select and try out. The dance minigame was pretty fun. In the stage I tried, you step up to Jabba the Hutt's dancer Ula, who seemingly survived her encounter with the Rancor. And after that, Princess Leia goes boss mode as she just can't have anyone outdance her in Jabba's palace. Honestly, these minigames are just pure silly fun, and I like that. The dance mode is so well done that it seriously surprises me that there was never a Just Dance Star Wars game released, as far as I know. Still, you can always show your moves to the beat of I Ain't Your Hologram Girl in this game. That's Kinect Star Wars. Next up we have Rise of Nightmares. This is a survival horror game that plays out like an interactive slasher film, where you control the characters. But opposed to something like a Dark Pictures or Telltale style game, which is a more cinematic experience, you actually get to control your character and fight monsters in this game, more akin to a traditional survival horror game. You will have to make some decisive decisions, solve some dastardly and insidious puzzles, and cut down a ton of enemies if you want to make it out alive in this game. My only complaint would be that I found that the motion tracking controls were a little awkward, especially when it came to movement, and I think that the developers might have known that because there is an option to automatically move to the next important area. But if you use this option, which isn't always available, you might miss clues and items. So it can be more rewarding to move around yourself, especially if you need weapons to fight your enemies. Even if, like me, you end up walking backwards a lot inexplicably. With that said, I do think that this game is pretty cool, to the point where I can't help but imagine if this game was released with regular controller support, it might have done alright in its time. As it stands, I think a lot of people might have never heard of this game, given that it was a Kinect exclusive, so I guess you could call this game a hidden gem. But with the Kinect game library being relatively small, you might as well say that about any game that wasn't a pack-in title with the hardware. Anyway, I think that this game is very interesting, and although it's a shame that there were no other physically released horror games for the Kinect that I know of, this game stands as an intriguing look at what might have been. That's Rise of Nightmares. And finally we have the Gunstringer. This is a third-person rail shooter that kind of plays like a light gun game, but if you want to be technical about it, it's not at all like that, but I won't tell anyone if you think that, so it's fine. This is another game where you don't have to use your legs, so it's a bit easier to play for the most part. You use one hand to steer your character to avoid obstacles, hide or dodge incoming projectiles as they fire at you. The other hand is used to highlight targets and shoot them down. The action starts out easy but can get pretty hectic when the screen fills with targets. And there are some cool boss battles in the game as well, so there's a good amount of challenge on offer. This game plays pretty well, and I like it. And once again, I feel like this game is an insight into what might have been if there had been more light gun style games on the Kinect. The good news is that there is a full game free DLC for this game called The Wavy Tube Man Chronicles, which is a live action shooter and is a trauma produced affair complete with Lloyd Kaufman berating you at game over screens. This DLC reminds me of games like Mad Dog McCree, and I love it. It's very over the top and silly, and I do love it for that. But I did find that the controls were a little more awkward to use in this DLC. Anyway, at the time of this video, you can still get this DLC if you have the Gunstringer, because the Wavy Tube Man Chronicles is free, so you can still download the extra content without making a purchase. That's the good news, but there is unfortunately bad news as well. There were 2 additional DLC shooting galleries called Real Big Shooting and El Diablo's Mexican Adventure, which are both sadly no longer available. Also, some new physical copies of the Gunstringer came with a download code for Fruit Ninja Kinect, which is also no longer available. And the Gunstringer had a sequel on PC called The Gunstringer Dead Man Chronicles, which was delisted and is now lost media, so that is also no longer available. What you can still play, however, with the Gunstringer and its free DLC, The Wavy Tube Man Chronicles, is awesome, so I encourage you to give them a go if you like what you see. And the same goes for any game on this list. The Kinect is awkward to set up and use for sure, but if you can get past that, there's still some excellent games to experience. And there you have it. That was 5 Kinect games for the Xbox 360. If you like this video, be sure to leave a like or a comment to let me know what you think. And don't forget to subscribe for more awesome content. And if you'd like to, you can also support me through Patreon or YouTube channel membership. Thank you for watching. I've been MVL, and I will catch you next time.